Hey people, I figured out that buzzing on my computer ain't my fan, it's my hard drive. So I went down and upgraded to a terabyte and I got it cloned over. So I thought I'd make sure I got one more movie before I tried to change it out in case I lost all my stuff. So I figured that cloning might be a little technical, so on the way back I figured I better not hit the Mexican joint and drink no tequila. I better keep my wit about me, so I hit Popeyes. So this is a shout out to Popeyes. They didn't have no size. She told me I couldn't get no size. I said I was really looking for them beans and rice. She said, no, we can't get no containers, so we don't sell any sides but fries anymore. I said, I didn't want to have to crank the truck up and leave the house tomorrow. So I got me a chicken sandwich and a fish sandwich for tomorrow. And I went to get my bag, and she done loaded me a bag down with another 4-piece chicken meal and a whole box of biscuits extra in there. She was feeling bad for me not being able to get no beans and rice. So a big shout out to Popeyes. So I'm going to run this one more before I break into my computer and change out that hard drive. But the last movie I finished up here, and I told you it was talking about there's no Tower of Babel. It's BVL. And confused is believe. And Babel is just a bevel. And it was the bevel of Khafra. It was the pyramid he built with a sharper bevel on it than his dad's was. And so that doesn't mean that every time it talks about Babylon in the Bible that it's talking about Egypt. They'll twist this word around a lot of ways. And sometimes it reads backwards and forwards. Sometimes it's talking about the cat. The milk, and then backwards, LVB, loving. The milk loving vel, the skin. The milk loving skin is the cat. And so the word will be used just like every other word. It'll be twisted. They'll add a U in there sometime. Sometimes it reads inside out with markings. So every time it says Babylon in the Bible, it doesn't mean that it's talking about the second pyramid. And there was no Tower of Babylon in the Greek either. It was called, the name of it, Confusion. Sugxusis. And it comes after auths, and these are creators of writing, or auths, or the writings. The author is the creator, and the auth is what is created. The writings of Sugxusis. And you have to look in the Septuagint to see what kind of markings they have in there. And in Latin, it's nomen, and they use bevel. And so your nomen in the place that this was written here in ancient Rome would have been second personal name, your middle name, Tillus, the bevel. And in Egypt, the nomen of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs was one of the great 5 names. It was introduced by King Jedfrey, the 3rd pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, as an imitation to the traditional Nustwit Bidi crest. And the nomen was later separated from the prenomen to become an independent royal name. This Bidi, in the Hebrew, it's given the meaning of the house, and it's of the sedge and bee. And it was the Romans that gave this, the NSTBET. So they had the same ancient word for this creature. And the first pharaoh to have the sedge and bee name was Dan. In the Hebrew, Dan was named because he was Danny, the judged. You can see it here, the hand and the Dan, and split into the 5 underneath it. This is the Aiden, Odin, in the generation of Odin, in the gin of Odin, the garden of Odin. The garden of Odin looks more like a calendar. But the gnomes were districts. And you see them drawn like this. But the nome of Bevel was Persopadu, so the house of Sopadu. And Sopadit was this ruling star. The name of the star, Cyrus, the brightest star, the eye of the dog. This was a star that marked the beginning of the flooding of the Nile. And that was this area here. The Giza sits back here and the Med sits here. But this is a name of suggests, of seduces. If we look in the Septuagint, it comes with some other markings, and it tells you to read this backwards first. And it's a mono, a one, a single, a mono, a single name, noma. And then a of at, ot at, of at, and what to. And the same as in the Hebrew, and some of the first movie I was telling you that what to is the first game you play with your kids, is the connected seal to see. And you have a picture and you have it spelled out. And that's what this means, the word what to, and goes to it. And a name of at what to. And then this line tells you to bring this O on the other side to read it to. And so it's what to, W-O-S-U-G. What to Vosage, V-O-S-U-G. And the closest word to that, is visage. I'm sure this is where that word comes from. A person's face or the surface of an object presented to view. Everybody sees things from a different view. That's the change of the languages. It depends on your view of what you're going to call this. And that's the confusion of the language. The language wasn't confused, the view was confused. The surface of an object presented to view. In the Hebrew, this word is bal, B-L-L-I-E-V-E, believe, is what you believe, your view. It's confused the language. A mononoma, of single name, of at, A-V-O-T, of at, what to, the Vosage chooses, your view chooses. And so you don't see it here because they changed this word, but it was a mono, a single name of what to Visage, what to your view chooses. And you see that word here with the sister of Tubal Cain, Nome, N-O-M-E. And it's the knowest, N-H is how they spell Noah. The knowest, the Gnostic, the knowledge of, Gnost. The Gnost of Razzle. The Gnost of R-Z-U-L, of Razzle. Razzle, dazzle. Razzle is the complex play intended to confuse, to dazzle the opponent. Give him a little razzle, dazzle. Knowest of Razzle, U-V-R-Z-U-L should be here, of Razzle. Knowest of Razzle, watch what, W-A-C-H, the watch, U-T, the watch what. To villainify, to V-L-N-I-F-Y, to villainify, to make it evil. To throw them off. Of the razzle, watch what, to villainify, and then final N is a M, to villainify them, Nome, the name. Tubal Cain was an instructor of the class, K-L-S, the class rears, R-H-R-S, to raise, the nos, the knowledge, of razzle, watch what, to villainify Nome. to make the name evil so people will be afraid of it. Satan. But this next line, it starts similar to these are the generations. They'll switch this up. I believe it started at the top of chapter 10. You see how it starts with a Vav, and it has the markings, and so it's the wall, W-A-L-L, E-A-L-L-E, of the Allah, the wall of the God. It tooled what to date. And here it's a little bit different. It's just Allah, it's God. Everybody knows that Allah was God. Everybody that read ancient language. It was also the trees. Everybody knows that the old Druids worshiped the trees as God, Allah. Sometimes let's say this Allah is the oak. It goes in the same category as the tabrets and Allah and the elms. And sometimes they'll say it's God. They just make it all up as they go along, however it has to fit. And so Allah tooled what? T-U-L-D, tooled. Tooled of what? Tooled is to cut into the stone. Allah tooled of what? To date, T-D-T, to date. To dates from. It says Ben. Ben, a lot of times they'll give it sons, and sometimes they give it old. They'll mix it up. You'll see all the different meanings of it there. Son, grandson. And I don't see how that fits in with old. How that could fit in the same category. And this 100 is different every time. And it's very seldom 100. But it says Ben 2 times, T-O-T-M, to T-A-T-M, to time them, shine. S-H-N-E, to time 'em shine. Allah tooled of what to dates from says been to time 'em shines. In your golden years, in the time you shine. And who jeweled? Why jeweled? Why jeweled today? So T-A-D-S. D-S is through fire. So that would be, during the daylight hours. To the days of copper our picks through. Our picks would, upside down epsilon over here gives you a U between the S and the D. The days of copper. The copper is Venus. Today's copper our picks would. Scent is rich. Scent is rich, and the A reads with the E down here. The rich ensemble, E-S-M-M-B-U-L, the rich ensemble, ensemble, emblem. This word twists around many different ways. And so this artifact set, it's twisted in different words. It's spelled a little different every time. And I'll have to read all the way down to the end of this before I get them all pinned down. I'll probably have to do a movie on every one of them before I figure it out. When I take the time and go back and look at it to cut, I catch things. So the shim is different. Again, here you see the diamond up here. They'll write it different every time. It's never the same word. And this is why, how, and then cha, C-H. Vicha, C-H-Y, C-H-Y, and then M, the chime. And then the diamond here is telling you to move this M again, so you read the M twice. And so who chime, and then miss, and then the M is an S when it's final. So it's S. Who chime misses his gyro, his turn. Who chime misses his turn. Read the I again, a little mark on top after it's the gyro. And the Y-E-U. You, Liddy, L-I-D, and back the other way, Liddy. The Liddy Lou. And then who, E-U, who. And then do. You Liddy Lou, who do. And so Liddy is a name derives from Lydia. The Lydian woman, the woman of purple. And she was evidently a well-to-do agent of the purple dye firm. And so the Lydia Hoodoo is somebody who dyes the purple. Who chime Mrs. Gyro. You Lydia Lou. Lou is it. You dye of purple it, and then hoodoo. The one who dyes purple. And so that would be the moon is the purple. And so it could be talk about any of these things that are associated with the moon. Silver, perfumes, elephant, queen of the planters' assembly of the spirits of a fertility, demoness of the dark diminishing period. Chime Mrs. Turn, who Lydia Lou, who do. To dish copper our picks through. Comes the motion, we, who jeweled bings of nut. You know, to dish copper Venus, our picks through. PKSD, D is through, our picks through. Comes, CHMS. You know, comes is to divide from. It's what comes out of the process. And comes the motion. The motion and then the U down here. The motion we who jeweled, who shaped it, you know, and he begat who jeweled. Who jeweled Bings? Bings marks the time of Nut. And Nut is the daughters of the god of creation. You know, he sneezed Ashu and made the sun the stars. And then he masturbated and his nut became the planets. So it's buzzing pretty loud. I'm going to cut this off here and change this hard drive out.
Don't forget. Hooty hoot, hooty hoot. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.